the first question for David, you're elaborating on God's love, and in my opinion, as a Muslim, I think again, this might sound redundant, but I think you were misquoting the Qur'an when God says, God hates the disbelievers. But in terms of love in all, what do you think Muslims today believe what their entitlement or their love towards others are?
No, I happen to think that Muslims live far better lives than the Quran would call them to live. And here I'm not talking about all Muslims. You can't make generalizations about any particular group. But lots of the Muslims I know live far better lives. Again, far better lives than what the Quran would command them to live. But I didn't say God hates. I said according to the Quran, God does not love unbelievers. And I'll go ahead and read you.
I have a list of them if you want.
I'll go ahead and read 4 translations of Surah 3, verse 32, which is the verse I appealed to. So this is a command of what Muslims are supposed to say. Say, obey Allah and the Messenger, but if they turn away, lo, Allah loveth not the disbelievers. That's the Pickthall. Here's Yusuf Ali. Say, obey Allah and His Messenger, but if they turn back, Allah loveth not those who reject faith. Hilali Khan. Say, O Muhammad, obey Allah and His Messenger, but if they turn away, then Allah does not like the disbelievers. And M.H. Shakir. Say, obey Allah and the Apostle, but if they turn back, surely Allah does not love the unbelievers. So I'm not sure I was
that's one verse. That's one verse. Let me just give you a few more verses. That this is not just an isolated passage, because you can say, well, you just picked one passage and ignored the totality of what the Quran teaches. The Quran teaches that Allah loves only those who are righteous Muslims, but He does not love those who are sinners. And let me give you some more verses just to back up what he said, that this is actually the teaching of the Quran from beginning to end. This is the consistent message of the Quran. Chapter 2, verse 190 of the Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah, chapter 2, verse 190. And fight in the way of Allah with those who fight with you, and do not exceed the limits. Surely Allah does not love those who exceed the limits. That's chapter 2, verse 190. Chapter 16, verse 23. Let me just read the verses. You ask a question, let me answer it. Chapter 16, verse 23. Assuredly, Allah knoweth that which they keep hidden, and that which they proclaim. Lo, He loveth not the proud. The only English is because of Pickthall. Chapter 28, verse 77. Chapter 28, verse 77. But seek the abode of the hereafter in that which Allah hath given thee, and neglect not thy portion of the world, and be thou kind, even as Allah hath been kind to thee, and seek not corruption in the earth. Lo, Allah loveth not the corrupters. That's 28:77. And again, for the sake of time, the final one. Chapter 42, verse 40. Chapter 42, verse 40. And the recompense of evil is punishment like it. But whoever forgives and amends, he shall have his reward from Allah. Surely He does not love the unjust. Now, we have passages in the Bible where it says that God loves the ungodly. God loves the sinners. God loves the world that's in opposition to God, and loved that world so much that He gave His Son for its salvation. Could you be so kind to quote a verse from the Quran where it says Allah loves sinners?
The thing is, in terms of, my knowledge in terms of the Quran is very limited. I do speak Arabic fluently. I do read Arabic.
Okay.
The question here is,
brother. By the way, that's fine. We're limited in knowledge too, and we understand that. We're all increasing. We're all improving in our studies. But So as far as your question goes. As far as Muslims I know, some of the Muslims I've met have been some of the nicest people I've met in my life. I've met other Muslims who threatened to kill my family. So we can't lump everyone together into one group. So the question for us is not how are people acting, because you can find there are Christians I wouldn't want to live next door to, right? And there are Muslims I would love to have as my neighbors as far as people. Our main concern is what the religions actually teach, and the only thing we're saying here is, according to the Quran, Allah doesn't love unbelievers. According to the Bible, God does love unbelievers. So the question here is, which one is correct?